Yeah, man, I just this is definitely a players' league, and I totally understand why. I mean, you hear a lot of ex-players say like, "Oh yeah, this is the way it should be." Like, good for him to do all this and stuff. But like, people forget about like contracts and stuff. Like, the team does mean something. Like, I don't watch. Like, I watch and I'm entertained by the players, but I have a team I follow. I'm a Magic fan. I love them. I'll always watch the Magic. Even like I love Vucevic, great guy. And I'll probably still watch some Bulls games, but like I'm watching the team, I'm supporting the team and the players on that team. And it's just sucks to be like a 76ers fan and to be like see a guy that you rooted for, you saw, you developed, and see him just not give a shit about your team. I mean, yeah, there's some bad blood in there, but like whatever happened to just being like, all right, I want to get traded. I'll play. I'll do whatever. Like, I think they just have so much leeway the players do now. It's just it hurts to watch basketball sometimes because like you don't know if someone's just sitting out just because they're not having discussions. Like Blake Griffin just sat out with the Pistons, and that wasn't even fair to the Pistons. They didn't do anything wrong. They were just the Pistons. That's why he didn't want to play for them. Like if I were a Pistons fan, I actually knew a Pistons fan. He's like, "Oh yeah, we got Blake Griffin." He was so excited about it. Year and a half later, he's like, "Fuck Blake Griffin, man." like, and I'm with him. Like I was I really like Jimmy Butler. Yeah, the Timberwolves should have offered him that super max before Wiggins, and that's what got him mad. But well, I mean, all things considered, I guess. I guess he just didn't like the drive. But I mean, there's worse things on that team. They still made there was a 3 seed up until he got injured. They're still a
Yeah,
young
we were
team when he was
great
there.
that year. I think he just, wanted to live in Miami, not Minnesota.
Yeah. And I mean, and it just sucks for small market teams, because these guys, I mean, not that 76ers are a small market, but all it takes is like one little thing and they're gone. Like, I get like a working culture is good and all. And I'm not taking anything away from like the players can't go where they want to go, but like people forget when you sign a large contract. I mean, like, all right, I'm signing this supermax for 5 years, and they're gonna pay me 45 million for the next 5 years, and like down the road, maybe I'll just get traded. Be like, no, remember, you're like signing that team because the team's like, we want to have you for 5 years, not we want to have you for 2 years, not make the playoffs, then trade you for uh 20 cents on the dollar. like, like,
Yeah, I agree. Contracts should mean something, but we are in a reality where humans are playing basketball, not robots that we're using on 2K. So they have real emotions, they have real decisions that they want to make, and it's not always about the money. I do hate when guys just force their way to specific teams and want to just force super teams. Like when Ben Simmons says, "Oh yeah, I want to be out, and you got to trade me to a team in California." That's what I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're getting
yeah,
traded wherever you're going. Like, that's fine if you want to trade your request. I get it. You don't get to say where you're going to go when you have 4 years on your contract and you just sucked ass in the playoffs.
yeah. I mean, like I like Damian Lillard. Why I think he's like one of the best guys in the NBA is specifically because this point. Like he's aside from the point where he's just like I want to win with this team. I want to try. Like he's even if he's made it clear when he finally does make it clear that he wants to be traded. Like he is like I understand. I'll be like yeah, all right. You've given us that try, but Simmons is like I mean, okay, maybe Simmons isn't a good example, but running back to Jimmy Butler, I mean, he's like, I want to get traded. Be like, you were here for a year, man. Like, give us, come on, like you made a third seed. Like, you don't think you can get better? Like, just because Miami's warm and winter here sucks. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
We got juicy Lucy's. Like,
Yeah. Come on.
come on. We got fireplaces. It's fine. It's fine. The summer's hot this year.
No, I hear you though. The NBA and professional sports as a whole, it's just become what have you done for me lately? Like, you already had Kawhi almost like talking about like entertaining cities as a free agent. Like he planned to go on visits till people are like, no, you're just like gonna use us and eventually go back to Clippers. But even so, like say an alternate universe where he goes on these meetings and he signs maybe with another team, it's like you're with the fucking Clippers for 2 years. You made them give up 4 first-round picks for Paul George, and you're Mr. Time Load Management. You got to do everything your way. You don't get to leave ever, bro. You got to fucking help us out here. Like,
Yeah.
be a man of your word, which, they ended up re signing, whatever. But just the fact that he didn't re-sign that max at the first instant, was
Yeah.
kind of annoying to me. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, like
These guys have done everything.
yeah, they did everything for you. And I get it's a business. It goes both ways. Like a team like DeMar DeRozan, he's like, I'm signing this contract because I want to retire with the Raptors. And then they're like, we get a year of Kawhi for DeMar DeRozan. Fuck yeah, get over here. And like I get that. Like there's two sides to it. It's just lately I haven't seen that other side lately. I'm not saying I want balance. I'm not saying I want to see a player get his heart broken. It's just I don't want to see small markets get their heart broken anymore. Like I get
I
it
do
goes
want
two
to.
ways.
I do want to see, more of these trade requests though end in the player going to just a shit situation that he didn't want. Like, I mean, Ben Simmons going to the Wolves isn't necessarily a shit situation he didn't want, but it's still funny he gets sent to Minnesota. Or like say, I mean, I don't know, say like who's like a guy who's going to request a trade that's kind of lame for doing it.
Who
Is
was
there anybody
the,
in that
who
category?
was the other year?
I mean, like,
I know what you mean. So somebody the other year was just I saw him be like, I want to be traded. I'm like, who gives a shit? If you like, who was it? It was Marcin Gortat like 3 years ago. Was like, I don't want to be with the Wizards.
I
was
do
like,
remember that. Yeah, you're right. It was like, yeah, I'm requesting a trade. It was like, dude, shut up. Like, what do you think you have power?
yeah.
You're like in your last couple of years. I think what he was trying to do, he was trying to get traded like back to the Suns. Maybe he wanted to like retire as a Sun, or
No,
was
he
the
wanted. He
Magic,
said he
maybe?
wanted
I
to
don't know.
retire the Magic. Actually, yeah.
Magic. Oh, okay.
He's like, I want to retire with the Magic. He's like, John Wall's a selfish player, and John Wall's like, I average 10 assists a game, and all you do is just catch my lobs. Like, he's like, I don't care, go. Like,
yeah.
no, that was a good example. But I mean, at least Kawhi like gets traded to Toronto. Obviously, didn't want to go to Toronto. He's like, I'll just win them a championship and go to the Clippers. And they're like, okay, whatever, that's fine, man.
Fine.
Like, yeah, that's okay. Like there's things where if they go there and they give a good try. I mean, some people Paul George wasn't his fault, but he went there and he bought into OKC. He also signed there on free agency.
He did force his way out of Indiana though, after giving them a ton of great years.
Yeah, and at that's a good example. Like Pacers were like, all right, yeah, you've done what you could. Like you've gotten face fucked by
almost
LeBron
think
for that many years.
I almost think at the time Pacer fans didn't like him for it. To be honest, I think you have that wrong.
You're right. They didn't like it. I understood it when it happened. I mean, he had been there for 7-8 years, right?
I think it was like 6 or 7, but he wasn't very, very professional on the way out. And I think he was only a couple years off of that broken leg, so he did miss a whole season for that. So they were with him for that. So
yeah, that's one that could go either way. I'm with that one. I'm like, okay, he gave ample time to them. And then I mean, who was the best player that played with him on the Pacers? Lance Stephenson. Like I don't think they did the best job.
Roy Hibbert was a star for a couple of years, then he really fell off.
2 years.
They traded for Evan Turner after I forget who they had at the 3. They kind of swapped someone out.
They had Darren Collison there for that whole time too, but
yeah,
I don't know.
He's a good player.
Contracts, but cool.
But yeah, so I think we talked a bit about Sexton to the Sixers.